Hello, I'm Richard Devaney from the Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth College. Welcome to a video series of interviews that I conducted with senior executives from many different industries. The series is called Strategic Insights, and the goal is to help you to understand what great CEOs are thinking about as the critical issues of today. Let me start by asking a couple of questions about Amgen.
Sure.
What do you think the single most important decision was that you made during your career so far at Amgen?
The decision that had the most consequence in terms of it needed to be right was the acquisition of Immunex for $17 billion, and it was a fraught decision. It was a real bet on the future. It turned out to be right. Probably the second most important decision, but maybe the most important, is the decision I made early in my tenure as CEO to, in effect, repopulate the top team and in some important ways change the culture of the company. Those two would be candidates in anybody's short list for important decisions.
How do your recent acquisitions, BioVex and Bergamo, fit into your bigger strategy?
Good question. Bergamo is a company that we just bought in Brazil, a big market. BioVex was an acquisition of a company that has an innovative therapeutic in melanoma, an R&D investment, if you will. The Bergamo investment is already doing well. Brazil's a big market. It's growing rapidly. We've been able to make real advantage from the Bergamo acquisition in terms of our financial performance and in terms of a platform for the future. BioVex still pretty early. We have to develop the product. It has to pass phase 3 trials. So far, so good. And it also is a product we took a risk on, and that's what we should be doing, taking thoughtful risks in innovation.
In 2010, a Healthcare Reform Act was passed, which allows for an abbreviated approval process for biosimilar products or medicines. How is that going to affect you, and especially in terms of your ability to recapture the big investments that you make in your products? Was this a good decision by the government?
Yeah, we had a lot to do with helping our government as well as European governments decide on a biosimilar policy. Biosimilars is the reference to what are the products called after the patents on the original drug expire, and they're called biosimilar because it's not possible to make an exact copy of a biologic as it is possible to make an exact copy of a pill, a carbohydrate. And I find the policy framework in the U.S. will respect innovator rights. It'll be good for patients in assuring safety. It'll be good for the payers in that they'll have alternatives and prices will go down. And it'll be fair to the people who want to get into the business. But I think that the policy the United States adopted is a good one, and it'll work. I'm optimistic about that.
Has intellectual property rights affected your ability to enter certain countries, and which ones are you avoiding?
Intellectual property is the foundation of our business. Without intellectual property protections, we can't really recoup our huge investments and many decades of work, and so it is centrally important. One country that probably is struggling a bit with intellectual property, but I know they're trying, I know they're making progress, is India. I think China has reached a place where we can go into that market and have a good position. But probably India is the biggest market where we think a little bit more about intellectual property than we might otherwise. But they're making progress, and I'm sure in a couple of years it'll be acceptable.
It's very interesting because most of the other CEOs that have come in have told me the exact opposite, that China is more of a worry than India. What has China done to change your mind?
Well, 20 years ago, we did have some small business in China, and it was early for them, early for us, and the intellectual property environment was such that there was no intellectual property protection, at least in the field in which we operated. Couldn't make any money. There were many competitors to our products, and so I pulled us out of the market because of it. We just couldn't make any money. I think China has tried hard. It's a journey to make their intellectual property environment attractive to companies like ours who have innovative medicines that they societally want, and so they've done some things that I think have improved the situation. And I can't point to any one particular element of their decision over these 20 years, but it's clearly better. And I realize that the journey is still ongoing, and different industries have different views. But in our business, I'm optimistic.
Last question about Amgen. What's your worst nightmare? What keeps you awake at night?
The worst nightmare is the thing that is unexpected, that you have little control over, happens fast, and has big consequence. And in our business, not that I lay awake at night thinking about it, but if there were one thing, it would be having some drug that was very, very successful turn out to have a safety question that no one had ever seen before, for whatever the reason is, not through negligence. It's just biology's complicated and unpredictable. So sort of the unexpected safety problem that results in large economic consequence and reputational damage to the firm, that's the single thing that fits the criteria for stay awake at night.